So what's the big message sent out from Maharashtra and Jharkhand today is going to be our focus. Joining me now, GVL Narasimha Rao is the BJP's senior spokesperson, former MP. Shama Mohammed, Congress National Spokesperson. Narendra Verma is spokesperson, NCP, SP. And Sushiben Shah, spokesperson, Shiv Sena. We'll also be joined later by political branch strategist for the Shinde camp, Daniel Francis. But first to my four guests that I want to come to you. GVL, your smile could not get broader given what happened in Maharashtra. 200 plus though is quite remarkable. Try and put this in cephalological terms because you've been a cephalologist. This is not just a wave, it's a tsunami, a huge swing, more than 6% in favor of the BJP. What does that suggest to you happened in Maharashtra? What exactly happened? What was it, Ladki Bahin or much more than that?
Certainly much more than that, Rajdeep. It's we haven't seen, as you mentioned, as Honorable Prime Minister mentioned, there has never been a mandate like this for half a century in Maharashtra. That it's a state. In fact, I was with you on the exit poll day, and when the polls predicted a significant lead for the Mahayuti or a victory for Mahayuti, I said it is going to be much bigger than what is being projected because increasingly development under Prime Minister Modi's leadership and also development under a double engine government in Maharashtra, welfare measures, and reaching out to the sections which have actually been deprived of development.
But GVL, all of that was there 5 months ago, and you lost Maharashtra. At least in terms of seats, you were thumped 30-17. So it turns around. Analysts on the ground are saying that there were 3 C's that mattered: cash, caste, communalism. All of that came together along with the development plank, along with complacency and the Congress. But would you concede something changed between May and November? What changed?
No, certainly I think the 3 C's that you mentioned, I don't think they have had any significant role to play in this election whatsoever.
Cash? Not even cash?
No.
We were told 50 crores was spent per constituency in the last week.
And I think, see, what you spend in elections in Maharashtra is like loose change when you consider how much money is spent down south. So and even then, parties, even after spending a lot of money, don't necessarily get elected. People, I think, let's give it to the wisdom of the people. Even in states where parties have spent money, they haven't succeeded politically because people, at the end of the day, choose what is a government which is good for them. And in Maharashtra, after having been in power, after having won 2 successive elections, though we were deprived of power for 2.5 years by stealing the mandate, people have given a third term to the BJP-led Mahayuti. And certainly, it's a thumbs up for the democracy. It's a huge win for the leadership of Prime Minister Modi ji. Like you said, 4 months ago, the setback was certainly on account of a propaganda against the BJP, some kind of fear psychosis that was generated, that was created about ending reservations, changing constitution, and somewhere we failed to really counter that negative narrative. And certainly in the last 3-4 months, we have not only countered that narrative, but we have also been able to create a very pro-development kind of a narrative. And we had positive agenda in this election. And the biggest negative for the MBA is they had no agenda whatsoever, except to speak against the BJP and the Mahayuti.
Okay, you've given me a variety of reasons. As I said, I had mentioned caste, communalism, the 3 C's that some are suggesting as all factors playing in Maharashtra. But Shama Mohammed, there were 2 more: complacency and Congress. You ran a terrible campaign. Even objective observers, even those who might be sympathetic to the Congress today, tell me it was a terrible campaign, disorganized, chaotic, no coordination, and much too late. Will you accept some of this? Or will it be typically Congress blaming EVMs now?
I accept all the 3 which you have said. I totally agree. I was in Pune and I agree with you on all that. And I want to congratulate GVL for a spectacular victory. And when somebody wins, we need to congratulate. A couple of things, Rajdeep.
Now, do you accept the 2 C's, Congress and complacency, or not?
No. There was complete disorganization there. I saw it myself. Nana Patole, the PCC president, did not even travel anywhere other than fighting for his own seat, which I think was completely unfair. What I see is that cash and caste played a very important role. I will not include communalism. See, let's understand that communalism was used in Jharkhand. Let's also speak about that. And communalism was used here. Ek hai to safe hai, batenge to katenge, or guspetiyan. These were the three things used both in Jharkhand and Maharashtra. In Jharkhand also, it's a landslide. Let's understand that. It is not a small victory. Now, the thing which I really was surprised about, Rajdeep, is that including many journalists, many of these strategists, everybody told me that it's a close election, both in Jharkhand and in Maharashtra. And Jharkhand, they said, you know what? There is also a chance of the BJP winning the election. Here, everybody said, some people said Mahayuti. So I understand a 150. But this is a landslide which surprises me to no end. How can a landslide happen? In Haryana again, everybody said that we are winning, but they just didn't win. They got a huge
And so what are you trying, आप कहना क्या चाहती हो, Shama Mohammed? Are you accepting? Are you going to today tell me there's something wrong with EVMs? My point
I'm not saying that. I am not saying it. Please, Rajdeep, I'm not a sore loser. I saw you in the morning and I told you we will be winning, and I'll come back at night at 9 p.m. because I was fine and I don't leave the battlefield. I'm telling you that I'm not somebody who runs away from the battlefield. There are definitely huge mistakes made by us. But let's also say in both the case of Jharkhand and here, the Ladli Behna scheme worked. And I have to tell one thing about the Election Commission. 2019, the dates of both Haryana and Maharashtra were together in October. This was delayed, saying that, festivals and also security for Jammu and Kashmir. I want to ask GVL one question. You want one nation, one poll. If you take in security of Jammu and Kashmir, tomorrow when you have one nation, one poll, you have West Bengal security, you have Chhattisgarh, you have Punjab, you have various border states, you have Naxal issues. How will you manage at that point of time? So let's understand that Election Commission has given them some time on that.
Ma'am, yes, Election Commission also, as a result, gave you more time to get your act together. The truth is you did not. And when you say katenge to batenge, the truth is also that there were Muslim clerics who are going around in Maharashtra saying that they will socially boycott Muslims who vote for the Prime Minister or vote for the BJP. And that had a reaction. So the Congress got
these clerics. I'm sorry to say, I'm not in agreement with these clerics. They cannot speak in this manner. It is very
well, your party should have been then firmer in distancing itself. That was just one of the many mistakes, and we can list out the mistake. But Sushiben Shah wants to come in. Sushiben, winner takes all. Big day for you. Congratulations. Do you believe today that you are the real Shiv Sena, or is that battle still to be decided when the Bombay Municipal Corporation election, much delayed, may finally be held next year?
We were always the real Shiv Sena. We always had the Dhanushaman. So there was no dispute in that. But I take this opportunity. Thank you for Mr. Sardesai having me on your show. It's always a pleasure, and my sincere gratitude to the voters of Maharashtra. They stood by stability, progress, and ek hai to nek hai, ek hai to saath hai. Now I'll tell you the reason why. As a result of this clarion call, what has happened is that the SC, STs, the Maratha, the OBC, the Vanchit, the Magaswargiya, they all joined together. You see, across Maharashtra, Mahayuti has swept. GVL Narasimha Rao ji, aapko bhi bahut abhinandan. Congratulations. Shama, you forgot to wish the Shiv Sena, but we as
congrats to you, Sushi. Some congratulations to you too.
Thank you, Shama. Now I'll tell you this. On what we have won is the Niti and Niyam that the Mahayuti professed. It was justice for all, appeasement to none. Now that was the scene which everyone in Maharashtra saw through. The ulema's letter. No one in the Mahavikas Agadi strongly condemned it. It is too late in the day, Shama, to come on the screen when you just have about 15 seats to say so. So therefore, the people of Maharashtra saw through it. And the most important, the tectonic shift in this election is the woman's vote, the woman power. Mr. Sardesai,
that's what I said.
No, 1 minute.
Give me a second.
Sushiben Shah, you made some very important points, and we can, obviously, yes, finish up. Yes, sorry, ma'am.
Yes.
Go ahead.
And I was on the ground campaigning. I was given the charge of Ladki Bahen in urban areas. मी जेव्हा झोपडपट्टीमध्ये जात होती, I would ask the women, पैसे भेटले का? सन्मान धन भेटले का? With a twinkle in their eye, they said, "हो सुशीबेन भेटले." That is empowerment.
But you
It is-
remembered it only after the Lok Sabha, ma'am. Let's be
No, but
honest.
but
You
I just
remembered the
remember.
woman,
Why did you
ma'am.
do that to her?
1 minute, Shama Mohammed.
Sardesai.
You remembered the woman of
remember
Maharashtra only in
so.
June. You remembered the woman of Maharashtra after the Lok Sabha
At least
defeat.
remember. In the
Rajdeep,
last
Okay, you
4
remember.
years,
Can I come
we
in,
were the
Rajdeep?
only
No,
party.
ma'am. No, you can't.
Come on. And what did the Mahavikas Agadi called it? Bheek, Revdi. When you empower a woman, when you economically empower a woman, you are reboosting the economy. It is a Sanman Dan. We are telling them thank you. Thank you for
Okay.
running my household.
Can I say one point?
No,
Rajdeep,
ma'am.
please?
Therefore,
Please, I request
the
you, Rajdeep,
6%
just
No,
one
no,
point.
please put down Shama Mohammed. You must learn to listen to others also a bit.
The 6% surge that you saw from the last assembly election till now, it was all the women. It is about time we get the women's reservation. We are going to romp home. This Maharashtra election has told the political parties that we have arrived and women vote counts, and therefore we must also...
Ma'am, I've heard you now. Sushiben, I've given you full time. Let me go to Narendra Verma. He's patiently listening from NCP Sharad Pawar. It's been a disaster for you in the battles between the two Senas, and we are putting it, I'll put it up on the screen in a moment. The Shiv Sena UBT lost heavily to the Shiv Sena Shinde. But when I look at even the numbers here, in the 40 seats direct contest, you all won 10. The other 30 went to the NCP Ajit Pawar, which ended up with 41 seats. Is the NCP Ajit Pawar the real NCP? Because the legislature party was fully controlled by Ajit Pawar. Is there an acknowledgement today, Narendra Verma, that Sharad Pawar has been bested by his nephew?
Rajdeep, good evening to you, your viewers, and the co-panelist. This result is shocking and unbelievable. This result is different from the ground reality. During the campaign, Rajdeep, you're coming from the same state. You have to the entire regions, pan Maharashtra. You must have seen the farmer distress, unemployment, women unsafety, the essential commodity, the inflation in the essential commodities. And you have seen the result of 5 months prior, the Lok Sabha election. The Mahayuti, Maha Agadi have got excellent result, and we were.
So what changed? No. So Narendra Verma, the story. No, 1 minute. No, Narendra Verma ji, what changed? All these issues, farmers' distress was there, but the truth is you were not able to capitalize in it because you all were fighting kaun banega Mukhyamantri. You spent July, August, September fighting amongst yourself, particularly Shiv Sena, UBT and Congress. Now there are those who believe in hindsight. Maybe you should have projected Uddhav Thackeray as the chief minister. At least you would have had some kind of a narrative. But you all spent all your time fighting, sometimes openly over tickets.
Rajdeep, there was no fight as far as the CM post was concerned. There was a consensus, there was an understanding. But let me tell you, we were leading in 151 assembly segment, Rajiv, and what they were leading in 121. How this result? This is unbelievable. Of course,
so what happened?
In democracy,
why not accept
democracy, we accept. In democracy, the mandate of people, we accept. We are going to have a thorough discussion, deliberation, and brainstorming session, and get ourselves ready for the corporation. There are 28 corporation election due for last 3 years. The Ladli Behna, you say they got benefit. They extended, the election was supposed to be there in month of October. They took it in November and they got this Ladli Behna. Well, Ladli Behna, we welcome, but the safety. Anyways,
okay. I'm going to stop you, Narendra, for a moment. I want to go right round first. Rajat Sethi, you were with us this morning. You've now processed what has happened. What do you think changed? There are those who now believe, yes, katenge to batenge, ek hai to safe hai, dharma yudh, vote jihad, all of that, consolidated Hindu vote. There's Ladli Bahin, there's cash. I am told by people that in the last week, 2 weeks, as many as 50 crores was distributed in certain constituencies. There were a lot of welfare schemes which also involved cash transfers. Did it all come together? Is it the campaign Mahayuti ran, or just how badly the Mahavikas Agadi responded to it?
Cash-wise, if you were to speak, Rajdeep, then there were news that cash was flowing in from the neighboring Telangana state and Karnataka state as well. So I don't see cash. Cash might come in towards the as a last factor, perhaps, which would have swayed the election. But one thing that is consistent, what Prime Minister in his speech talked about, was ideological inconsistency of the Congress party and the Agadi. You cannot have the Congress leader come out and speak good about Balasaheb Thackeray. You cannot have the Congress leadership talk about Veer Savarkar in the same way that Uddhav Thackeray would have wanted. These ideological inconsistencies are far too serious for the voters to feel confused about Agadi. And on top of that, you do not even run a campaign. You do not even pick the right issues. I'm saying, had the Mahavikas Agadi only picked one issue, only picked the farm issue and sort of ran a campaign, they win or lose, whatever, but at least the messaging could have been clear that we are here for the interests of the farmers. You can't just come in and speak and blabber over a press conference that we want to give 6,000, 7,000 for soybean.
That's a good
and you do not have a seriousness.
Yeah, I'll let you know. 1 minute.
To even back that thing through guarantee cards or through whatever means or mechanisms you had to actually spread the message. 3 days before the polling date, it was Mallikarjun Kharge who comes in and drops this thing that I want to give us 7,000 rupees for soybean. How serious are you about your core promises? And then on top of that, women voters who swayed by and they voted extra 6% from the previous election. What Pawan Kheda, a lot of Congress leaders, a lot of NCP, SP leaders are unable to fathom the scale of this victory. The real reason is that when 6% extra women come out and vote, they're coming with a very strong message. You know, women have shown repeatedly right from Jayalalitha days that if they come and if they decide to vote in one favor, you will see such kind of tsunami. For people who are not able to comprehend, please understand 6% extra women votes who are coming in are not coming in when they are seeing total confusion on the Agadi side and they are seeing direct transfers which they have felt. And every household getting 10,000 rupees, etc. is way too much. So I think they should take a step back, realize the solid impact that the women scheme, the direct cash transfer scheme had, and complete lack of having singular issue, focused campaign on things that matter to the people. This, in essence, is what happened, and this is the disaster that we are seeing. Worst performances for all the three constituents of the Agadi.
Can I just come in?
You know, Shama Mohammed, you've been very patient listening, but I want to ask you this. You know, there is a belief that you all spent much too time. You all thought the Lok Sabha and Vidhan Sabha identical elections. So Rahul Gandhi went around Maharashtra with a constitution copy in his hand and said Samvidhan khatre mein hai, had Samvidhan Sammelans. When really, as Rajat Sethi is right, there should have been possibly a yatra on the Kisans for a month-long yatra. You could have taken up issues. There was high inflation. You just didn't do the messaging. You seem to spend more. Some of your leaders spend more time in Wayanad than they spent in Maharashtra.
Rajdeep, the issues were, I was there in Maharashtra. We spoke about the farmers' issue. We spoke about businesses going out. We spoke about joblessness. We spoke about women's safety. Now, the issue really is, let me tell you, I was in Telangana. I was in Karnataka. The guarantees were released 3 months before. Here, the guarantees were 2.5 weeks before we announced. That is what I'm saying. Even I'm shocked. It did not reach the people. Let me tell you, many of the candidates did not take these guarantees seriously. I told them, if it's not coming from MPCC, you do it on your own and give it to houses. I would check on them, and many of the houses never even heard of these guarantees. Let me tell you, to overcome the Ladli Behna, we couldn't overcome it by saying that we are giving you 3,000. We are giving you free bus service, which is another 2,000. And we are giving you gas for 500 rupees, 5 gas cylinders per year for poor families. We did not overcome the Ladli Behna. It was very simple. In Telangana, we started 3 months before. We told every household it's coming. Everybody knew about these guarantees. Whereas in Maharashtra, they did not. And I don't know why it was released
at whose door is this blame to be laid? There's a KC Venugopal, your General Secretary organization, who simply seems to hurtle from one defeat to another and yet is untouched.
I don't agree.
Is it Rahul Gandhi who's your de facto leader? Is it Mallikarjun Kharge? Is it Ramesh Chenithala? Who's going to be held accountable for this?
So in Kerala, when we have an election, the leader of opposition, the state president takes on the responsibility. That's how it works. I fail to understand why can't the leader of opposition and the president of the state take the responsibility?
Okay, so you're saying very interesting. The center, the center will be immune of it. The center also surely has some responsibility, as does Nana Patole. But I take, just a minute, ma'am. I'm joined also by Daniel. Okay, I don't know whether GVL is still with us. GVL Narasimha Rao, we are sort of, as usual, doing what happens when the Congress loses badly, targeting them. But there is also the defeat in Jharkhand. Just for a moment, I want to ask you. The Prime Minister barely, just a minute, ma'am. The Prime Minister barely had one line for Jharkhand. The truth of the matter is that you've suffered a big defeat there. And Jharkhand is also part of the Union of India. So at the end of the day, you've lost one, you've won one. How do you respond to the defeat in Jharkhand? It perhaps shows that your polarization didn't work there in the manner it did in Maharashtra.
No, Rajdeep, it is not as simple as just one factor hurting any party, be it the BJP or any other party. Certainly, there are many other reasons why we have not been able to get a positive mandate in Jharkhand. We will certainly look at those reasons. But it is a vote against our campaign, or people did not agree with our issues. I think that would be too simplistic to analyze any election result like this. But certainly, this is a election result which will certainly require us to go into great detail. But although Jharkhand is very important state, and every state in the union is important, but one cannot miss the fact that a state of the size of Maharashtra, and with its huge economic potential or huge economic standing, is in a different league altogether. So, and a victory in Maharashtra has huge implications, not only for national political messaging, but also for the economy, because when Prime Minister is focusing on economy, and the next target is to make it the third largest economy, and being seated in power in Maharashtra is very important.
May I just ask you this, GVL? Do you think it's easier for the BJP to take on states where you've virtually swept all the direct contests with the Congress, particularly in Maharashtra, but you've done well also against the regional party. But by and large, when there's a strong regional player like the JMM, do you find it more difficult to take them on in Jharkhand than you do a Congress party in Maharashtra?
No, not necessarily, because we have won against several regional parties. For example, Odisha. Our victory was not against Congress. The Congress didn't matter in Odisha. We won against BJD. So there are many states where we also win against regional parties. In Maharashtra, we were not only fighting the Congress, like you said, Shiv Sena, Uddhav, and NCP, Sharad Pawar also were very significant players in the Mahavikas Agadi. So we have been winning. The defeat in Jharkhand has certainly a much larger dimensions. We will need to go into it. We will need to understand which segments of Jharkhand did not support us, and what we could have done differently to get their support. Because Lok Sabha elections we have done actually better than what we have done in Jharkhand, whereas the reverse is the case in Maharashtra, Haryana, and a few other and let's say by polls in Uttar Pradesh. So what has gone wrong in Jharkhand? We will certainly analyze the reasons, and mind you, next time we will certainly ensure that that is the beauty of the BJP. We will learn from our mistakes, and we will ensure that we don't repeat those mistakes again.
That's a good point you make. Daniel Francis joins us. He was part of Eknath Shinde's communication team. Daniel, we are told Eknath Shinde is still hoping to become the Chief Minister of Maharashtra. You know him well. Is this victory Eknath Shinde's, or is this of the collective? Do you believe Eknath Shinde's leadership was what made a big difference? That I for one, and I said it on air, wherever I went, I didn't hear a single negative word about Eknath Shinde.
So, Raji, let me start with a short story. In 2019, the Yuti Sarkar comes back to power, and they have a comfortable majority. Then something happens. Three parties come together. break the alliance, and for 2.5 years they rule Maharashtra. Mr. Eknath Shinde decides to go back to the Yuti. He takes the MLAs with him, and they all want to go back to Mahayuti, and they go back to the BJP and former government. He's made the chief minister. He faces a flag. He faces a negative campaign every day of his life. A new partner joins in. The whole narrative about this government is negativity, and the blame is on Mr. Shinde, the blame is on BJP. Then we go for Lok Sabha. In Lok Sabha, we see that the NDA in Maharashtra faces defeat, bitter defeat, but Mr. Shinde keeps on working. He goes on to plant schemes that are welfare schemes, go amongst people. And in the last 2.5 years, the kind of work that he's done, the kind of narrative that he's built.
No, what is the work? Daniel, what is the work? Let's be very clear. The fact is, 6 months ago, or even a year ago, certainly, Eknath Shinde was associated with Pannas Khoke Ekdam Okay. Exactly. That was the narrative, and Aditya Thackeray was able to carry that. What changed? What is this work that he's done that you're claiming has changed, has given a positive edge to Eknath Shinde's image?
His own personal character, his own personal personality, his own model of governance for the people at the bottom of the pyramid, direct benefit transfers, Shasan Apल्या Dari, innumerable schemes that benefit people, at least 6.5 to 7 crore beneficiaries in Maharashtra, which is huge. 2.5 years of work, people are electing its state government. They can see we have Eknath Shinde here, who's working 24/7, and Uddhav Thackeray here, who's not working at all. They can see that there are 3 major parties that have Mr. Shinde, Mr. Fadnavis, Mr. Ajit Pawar. They all have their own governance track record. And here we don't have anything. In the last 2.5 months, the way the Congress and the Shiv Sena fought on the streets, in the press conferences, in meetings, not wanting to see eye to eye. The Congress opposed the Ladki Bahin scheme and then went to the court. And eventually they had to bite the bullet and give a better offer to women, which was rejected lock, stock and barrel. The government was proactive. The government was reactive. The government focused. Mr. Shinde is a very positive man. He turned the tide for Mahayuti in the favor of the Mahayuti in just 4.5 months. And this is a huge achievement.
Okay, which leads me, I take your point again. Daniel, I take your point, which brings me to Sushiben Shah of this Shinde Sena. Every Shinde Sena Karyakarta I'm speaking to since the morning is saying Eknath Shinde must be made Chief Minister. In your view, does he deserve to continue as Chief Minister, or because the BJP has won 90% of its seats, which is a phenomenal strike rate, it's time for Devendra Fadnavis?
Absolutely. He should be made the CM, and I'll tell you the reason why. He's one of the most popular Maratha leaders, the most popular CM. 35% is a strike rate. Let us not forget, the entire 2.5 years was fought under his leadership. He was at the helm of the ship. He was the captain.
Where does it leave? No, ma'am, where does that leave then Devendra Fadnavis? Ultimately, it was under Devendra Fadnavis's leadership as well that the BJP has pulled off a phenomenal performance.
Absolutely. As a Shiv Sainik, it is my earnest desire. But as we've always said, कि हमारा फेविकॉल का जोड़ है. So whatever the Pakshresht decides, but I'm very, very hopeful and very, very sure that due credence will be given to the leadership, the captaincy of Eknath Raoji Shinde. You cannot forget that it was Ajit Dada, it was also Devendra Fadnavis ji who accepted his leadership, and we went in the election mode under his leadership, under his CM-ship. So therefore, we are very, very hopeful that he will be considered and he will be the front runner for the CM post.
GVL, is that an issue still, or do you believe the BJP deserves to get the chief ministership of Maharashtra now?
No, Rajdeep, the mammoth mandate given by the people, I think let this be the moment of joy. I think it's a collective work of the Mahayuti coalition partners, and it's certainly a collective victory. But certainly, as BJP workers, BJP cadres would also want to have a chief minister because we are almost on the verge of a majority on our own. But these are decisions to be made not by the wishes of the Karyakartas, but certainly by the leadership, national leadership, the parliamentary board of the BJP, in consultation with the state unit. They will certainly make a very quick decision on this. And so leadership decision making has never been a challenge for the BJP at least in the last decade. So this will also be a very smooth and a very quick decision, which will certainly convince the people of Maharashtra, which will create a certain moment of joy among not just BJP and Mahayuti cadres, but among people of Maharashtra as well.
Can I say one last point, Rajdeep? One last
point.
Very
quickly.
Rajdeep, there was a very, very horrible ad put by the BJP in Jharkhand. No action was taken by the Election Commission. Raghubar Das, the governor of Odisha, was campaigning in Jamshedpur East. No action taken by the Election Commission. So I have to also put in, I've agreed to a defeat, but Election Commission is in their hands. I mean, why? Did you see the GVL? Do you agree with the Jharkhand ad where Muslims get into a Hindu house and they said that, you know what, we are going to occupy you, and this is what the government, I mean, how despicable it is.
At the end of the day, as you saw the verdict, ma'am, that ad eventually was pulled down. I take your point. Ma'am.
No,
it can't be. Ma'am, 1 minute. It cannot be
Shaba,
that when you...
Don't claim to be a moral guardian. The Congress and your campaigns...
The ad, that's why you lost in Jharkhand. That's a landslide in Jharkhand. Let's understand that.
There is never a single reason for defeat. It's always
producers, let me just put down the... I want to give some of the reasons at the end that I believe, as we end this day, made a difference. The fact was, the Mahavikas was well prepared and course-corrected after their defeat in the Lok Sabha. By the time the Mahavikas Agadi got their act together, it was almost Diwali. That was in the end of August. So you can see, end of October. For 3 months, the Mahavikas Agadi simply didn't have a strategy to combat either Ladki Bahin or indeed offer a positive narrative at the local level. Issues like agrarian distress, issues like Mehengai didn't become part of a concerted campaign. Also, let's be clear, there were welfare measures, you can call them cash-driven, but they worked on the ground. MLAs were given for development works alone, several tens of crores, to put that money into their constituencies, and obviously that money trickled down. There was the messaging, there was the inconsistency in the messaging on the Mahavikas Agadi side. Hindutva also had a role. Maybe the hardcore Shiv Sainik felt that it was Uddhav Thackeray who had moved away from the politics of Hindutva. That consolidated that vote as well. And you had a sense that Eknath Shinde's leadership was being matched against the fact that on the other side, you didn't really even have a chief ministerial candidate. So all that could go wrong went wrong for the Mahavikas Agadi. All that could go right went right for the Mahayuti. Remember also, there was an election in Jharkhand. We sometimes forget that. And that reflects the diversity dividend of this country. Different states vote differently on different issues. It is that diversity, my friends, that needs to be respected. One size doesn't fit all. The mistake the Congress and perhaps its allies made is they thought that 2024 Vidhan Sabha was a done deal once they had won the Lok Sabha election. That proved to be a very bad miscalculation. Every election in this country needs to be fought differently. The pitches are different. You have to play the game very differently. The Mahayuti managed to do that, was far more flexible. The Mahavikas Agadi failed to do that. So add the word complacency or overconfidence, that cost the Mahavikas Agadi the election. In fact, that's the big message of 2024. You could argue that in the Lok Sabha, the BJP thought it was a done deal, the voter sent a message. In Haryana, the Congress thought it was a done deal, the voter sent a message. And now in Maharashtra, possibly the MVA for a long time thought it was a done deal, the voter has sent a message. The voter cannot be taken for granted. He or she at different times will vote differently on different issues. That's all I want to say today. All I can say, it's been a fascinating year of elections, not just in India, but across the world. And therefore, it is at the end of the day, time to say goodbye. Thanks for watching. Stay well, stay safe. Jai Hind, Shubhratri. Can I say Jai Maharashtra? I'll say it too. Jai Maharashtra. Whoever comes to power, I hope that my state gets the best leadership it can, whichever party that belongs to. For now, goodbye. Puna Bhetu. We'll meet again. Bye for now.